It's Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. I recorded it yesterday. It was Monday. I didn't get to post it. Today I'll be posting it on Tuesday, but I'll also post this one, which is Tuesday. So 2 in a day, but making up for a lost day. Anyway, yesterday we talked about DVDs. You'll see it. Not the movies. Direction, vehicle. No, I'm sorry. Destination, vehicle, direction. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll, whatever, do the thing. If you want to see it, it's around. Today, lots going on today. Today, I got a meeting, Greenwood Cultural Center, talking about a partnership with PodIQ to do using podcasts as a restorative method of healing for communities. Interesting. Maybe I'll do it. I'm not going to do an episode here about it because it belongs to PodIQ. But again, I'll leave a thing in the description talking about the proposed Greenwood method. Anyway, beyond that, today, man, we got to get across this hump. So we're launching PodIQ. I want to officially launch on Friday. That's 3 days away. Anyway, let's see how it goes. But the first hump is social media. My social media is a 0. It is a 0. Well, the social media for PodIQ. My social media personally is a little bit better. But for PodIQ, we're starting from ground zero. We're starting from less than 0. I repurposed accounts from other brands, and now it's got all sorts of Christmas junk in it. It looks like somebody's basement. It is no bueno. So, long story short, we got this goal, 1 million ARR by end of year, which means a couple of things. And again, it's in the DVD, but we're trying to make $1 million or 1 million ARR for PodIQ by end of year. That's a tall number. Either way, here's the deal. When we did the numbers, 1 million ARR, you're looking at 20,000 subscribers. That's what you need. 20,000. It's not impossible, but that's no small change. So, we need to do things in big moves, big chunks. You gotta move by the 1,000. Today is tough to go from 0 to 1,000, so we're gonna go from 0 to 100. We're gonna go from 0 to at least the first 100 pieces of content. First 100. Today. I don't know how we're going to do it, but from 0 to 100, because if we're still at 0 tomorrow, it's not going to be good. So, that's what we're doing today. We're talking to the Greenwood people. I'll see if you want to sit in on that. And then PodIQ, man, that's the name of the game right now. I mean, I'll fit in like the practical instructions as we go along. But this is going to be this is the GRZY. This is PodIQ, $1 million. Let's do it. Jump in. It's Tuesday the 27th. I'm about to jump on this morning meetup call. I do a morning meetup. David Shands. Every morning, 100 entrepreneurs get on the line, live coaching, live all the things. Anyway, I'm gonna get another cup of coffee. Boom, and I'm gonna get it going. Matter of fact, I need a GRZY mug. I need to get GRZY mugs today. GRZY mugs. All else aside, what are we doing again? Greenwood. Chatting up Greenwood. Actually, and I got my man Josiah Faison. So chatting it up with him, founder of Oria, doing a catch-up session. I'll link to the other video that is on on the joint. When did I catch up with him? We caught up at Rec Philly back in the day. Oh man, they got these crazy things. Anyway. First off, morning meetup. Second off, Greenwood. Third, catching up with Josiah. In between, getting this 100, man. It's all done in small steps. You gotta take one step at a time. Each step's gotta be serious. You gotta knock it out, man. I'm getting this 100, man. I'm getting this 100. Anyway, let's do it. Be on the grind. This is the GRZY.
I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. Oh, I'm on the GRZY. Oh, I'm on the GRZY. Yeah. Woke up talking to my scars. They said, boy, you too hard to kill. Mama had prayer on the stove, right next to the unpaid bills. Sneaks had hoes, but I ran them miles. Whole hood sleep, I was up in files. Plotting on the way out, came from the gray house. Turn that pain into pay now. I'm on the GRZY, yeah. I'm on the GRZY. What? Say it till they feel me. Say it till they feel me. I'm on the GRZY, hey. I'm on the GRZY, yeah. Came up by that struggle, not a hustle, live within me.
What's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, boom. We're in the mix. What's
Yep,
happening?
good.
Meeting is being recorded.
I actually just finished a call. I got to call with the governor's office of Maryland.
What?
More. Yep.
Governor's office where? Maryland?
Yep.
My man Wes's office.
Yep, Wes Moore.
Yeah, man. What's happening? So what are you up to?
Same old. I just got back from New Mexico yesterday morning, so I got to go to the Great Nations Powwow, 500 plus tribes in one place, uh, capturing some indigenous history coming up, and then on top of that, I actually got to meet some people from the Affairs for Education, right? And so I actually talked to them, exploring possibilities of me going to some of the reservations, some of the indigenous schools, and seeing if I can help them teach how to do startups, right? Give some advice, give some feedback,
All right.
mentorship. So
That is dope. So where are you now? What are you up to now?
I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
Yep, another day back on the grind, you know. Hmm.
I feel you. So so now in terms of like your primary joint, are you still pushing Oria as your primary joint, or what are you up to now?
Same Oria, same project, same everything, same
Okay.
tool. The only difference is, well, it's not even a difference, right? We're just adding more communities, right? But now this weekend was just a focus on seeing how we could capture indigenous history.
Nice. That community aspect is dope. So what are you up to for this year? So I'll tell you. So on my side, so I'm doing something interesting. So on my side, I've got a couple of different apps, platforms that I'm working on. I think my main tool, which is network.ai,
Mm-hmm.
it's an interesting thing. So I've got a few subscribers on it. Um, but I think it's one of those scenarios where technology is changing so fast. Like the tool today is different from what it was a year ago. And I feel like a year from now, it's going to be different from what it is today. I think just how fast AI is changing changes the nature of the tool because it's more like functionally driven. So I really want network.ai to be like almost like a mix between LinkedIn and a telephone, like how it can facilitate all sorts of integrated collaboration at a higher level. I think LinkedIn is a little bit old and clunky for a new generation. Um, but the fact that the product is evolving so fast, I'm not pushing it and selling it as much as I'm focused on developing it, just because I don't want to have new users that expect that it's always going to be what it is today and then just have to bow to new users and not be able to go where it's going. So in the interim, I've got this new product called PodIQ, which I'm interested in your feedback on. So PodIQ, it's really just like a pod production or podcast production platform. So I really developed it out of my own need for like the GRZY to plan like the content. I was driving myself crazy, always trying to figure out what the next topic idea, next show idea, whatever. And so I built out this AI platform that could help me script it out, identify the topics, but also produce a lot of the derivative things like you need A/B options for titles. You're going to need a YouTube description. You're going to need a post that goes to your LinkedIn, all that stuff. And so I built out this PodIQ. So it's an AI pod planner, pod production platform, which I'm interested in your Oh, so here's what I'm doing. Launching it from zero to the objective of 1 million ARR by end of year. So basically Q1 was concepting what it's going to be, coming up with the brand, and then now I'm going to go to market, but every day do an episode of the GRZY talking about what I do each day until it launch, until end of year.
Mhm.
What do you think about the approach, like the whole building in public approach?
Building a public's the best approach. Like I'm always gonna advocate for building a public, but because then at least over that time, right, you're getting people that know what you're doing. They're watching the journey, and then on top of that, you're continuously learning, and then on top of that, people that are interested, they'll be able to reach out to you in the meantime. Whereas, if you just keep it private until you launch, next thing you know, by the time you launch, you're starting from a zero audience, which is never ideal, right? So definitely do that. One thing you might want to use, so there's this tool named Walloxy, right? And so what you might want to do is it's really just for finding people on LinkedIn. Like, so
Walloxy,
yeah. And
like
so
Galaxy, but Walloxy.
yeah, but two
All right.
A's. So WAALAXY. What you might want to do is, considering that you're going to be in the podcast space, you'll so to make it quick, what you're going to want to do is once you get on Walloxy, they have a website for Sales Navigator, which gives you like a 40-60% discount, right? And so you'll get that 40-60% discount on on Sales Navigator. When you look up podcasters on Sales Navigator, it'll give you like, say thousands to millions of people, right? You download that list, you put it on Walloxy. And so what Walloxy will do is it'll automatically send invites to 200 people a week, and say you'll hit like a 30% acceptance rate, right? So then over that time, it'll trickle in. So then while you're focused on the podcast, it'll also organically grow your network too. So you're not only focused on, the, the organic part, you can actually have it doing it while you're asleep, right? So I
I
think you
like
should
that.
do that too. Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that. The Walloxy. I'm gonna check that out. So how's everything on your end? What are you doing over the summer with Oria? Yeah, what are you doing over the summer with Oria? What's happening now?
So I have a lot of different projects going. So we have Greenwood, right? We're doing the collaboration with Greenwood, capturing the history of not only the massacre, but also how Greenwood's grown since then. Direct descendants are going to be using Oria to tell their stories about their families, what's happened, where they are. So now, for example, say someone's in Philly, right? But they're a descendant of Greenwood, they can actually contribute their history there. fingers crossed we're going to be there for the commemoration. We're currently fundraising for that to go
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
was that the end of when is that? That the like, end of year?
That's
Or when
mid
does that
summer. It's
happen?
like I think it's June.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's June, July. So we have time. It's not going to
cool.
be an expensive flight or anything like that. Um, what else? We have a good amount of projects going. Also, America's 250th, so super busy right now.
Yeah,
Trying to
yeah.
get any events we're going. Since we're partnering with like local library systems in Maryland primarily. Um, Hopefully by that point, so we know we're going to be going public with at least one of them at the end of May, early June, right? And then we want to actually have majority of library systems in Maryland. So by the time Juneteenth rolls around, for example, we want to have an event where people can contribute their history, right? A digital event, not in person, right? So
So how do you well, two questions. You creating content on these? Like you doing the vlog or whatever? How were you doing that?
I'm going to be doing more content. Like I need to get to the point where I'm doing content at least like 2, 3 times a week, right?
Yeah, dude. So not everybody has this advantage. You have a key advantage in that your product is inherently social.
Hmm.
Your product, by its very nature, creates content. Um, but the other piece that is very worth capturing is how intentional you are about the collaborative partners. That's a whole story in and of itself. Like, even if you didn't have an app, the people that you're talking to, even if you just took your phone and, captured what's happening, that's almost like, what's his name? Whether it is Everybody Feeds Phil or what's his name? The guy who used to travel as a chef. I forget his name.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking.
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, yeah.
In that, and the reason why I outline it is whether it is the work with the tribal partners, whether it is the work with Greenwood, those are stories worth capturing by themselves.
Yeah,
Even if you didn't have the extra layer on top, what you're doing is fascinating and exciting, but it's culturally rich in a way that gives what you're doing context and relevance. And I think the whole content creator thing is powerful. Like, I think it's like way more powerful than we give it credit for. And I
hmm,
think, dude, even if you were to just capture your thing, or even like when you wake up, just say, yeah, I'm on the phone with Wes Moore today, blah, 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 blah. And then take that. And there's a guy I used to work with. It was a business partner of mine. I used to run events in New York City with this guy. And what he would do, and this was way long ago, this was like 15 years ago. But whenever we would go and have meetings, like say you have meetings, a partner, whatever, I don't care who it was. He would take a picture, like, and then immediately after, he would be on LinkedIn and say, boom, I'm meeting with such and such, expecting big things. And
yeah,
that was its own engine. It was its own, like, number one, that person he met with feels kind of like obligated or something. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you're a little accountable to whatever you talked about, but also it's a signal to the broader audience that's following you and following this journey. And it doesn't have to be professional. Actually, the raw people want to see that raw, like, oh, I can see it. That's his iPhone. He just click, 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 and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
So yeah, man, don't lose these days because you're doing some incredible things. But sometimes we get just caught up in the doing of the things. It's powerful, man. Don't let it. Don't sleep.
Exactly.
Take
Like
your
for
take
me,
your iPhone and just boom.
yeah, I will. Like for me, I just need to start doing it more because it's like, we're doing something every day. Like every single day, we're doing something, right? And it's also like, I have to take in mind the privilege of the fact that I am in a space where, I'm a tech founder, young, Black, from District Heights, right? Like a lot of people
You're a
can
tech
resonate.
founder. So, and here's the thing. Here's the difference. There's a lens.
Mhm.
You're a tech founder, yes. Even more, because tech, it means something today, but it really doesn't, right? Like tech 100 years ago would have been a typewriter, like whatever. Like you're a community builder. What you're
Mhm.
doing in terms of these links and bridges that you're building social tissue and social fabric between communities that are important, acutely important, which is its own phenomenal story. I think it's the difference. It's the difference between somebody iconic like a Steve Jobs who has that like thing of I'm going to make creative things that facilitate things, not just like I'm a tech guy and I'm going to make technology. What you're doing is you're creating platforms for culture, platforms for communities and civilization to be able to like be maintained, be preserved, to be
Yeah.
carried into the next generation. It's a bigger thing. It's a bigger play, and I think there's cultural relevance. There's cultural relevance, and the numbers like what 800 or so languages die a year, never to be spoken again. What you have is the underpinning of changing that. So I think, yeah, man, do the content thing. People need to see. I think you need to be loud. You should be loud.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm going to be, especially now that I'm just going to be, don't worry. I'm going to get
All
that done.
right.
Mhm. We
That's-
actually just
uh,
we did one post. I collabed with our I guess you could call him like our PR guy, right? Like he's one of a really good friend of mine. And we did it and we hit, I believe it was 2.3 million views, right? 300,000 likes, 10,
what'd you do? What
12,000
was it?
comments.
What'd you do?
We are just talking about what's going on in Venezuela, the impacts of it on the global landscape, right? Um, how it's unknown what's going to happen next when it comes to like how it might shape the history there, right? And it wasn't just a take of like it wasn't a take of just criticizing how the operation that was done, like that's like implied, right? Maybe you shouldn't go kidnap the president, but it was really the fact that we talked about the global scene of it, right? On how it'll affect the new agenda of how things will operate, right? How like what's going to happen next, right? And we did that post. It went viral. You know, I woke up and I was like, wow. I was like, I'm still getting followers. And the crazy thing is, even though we were collaborating on it, I didn't even accept the collaboration on my account because I forgot to until like 4 days later. So it was already at 2 million views. And even though I accepted it late, every day I'm still waking up to new followers, new comments, um, people learning about what I'm doing and things like that. So like I'm learning is we can go viral, right? We can go spread the word about so many different topics that are related to what we're doing in historical preservation, right? Because while we're capturing history, we're currently living in history, right? Today is going to be history tomorrow. So,
Yeah, yeah. Now, you did this on where? On Instagram
yep,
or
Instagram.
Instagram? Boom, boom. That
Mhm.
is dope. So, quick question on the rest of the year. So, quick question on the rest of the year. Where, with all the collaborations, where are you trying to drive to? What is success in terms of these sort of partnerships? Is it for mostly visibility, or is there like some practical aspect of it to it? And then is there like a cultural thing that's driving? Because I noticed whether it is the tribal, the Greenwood, is there a very specific cultural aspect to what you're trying to do?
So in terms of specific cultures, we don't have like one that we're only aiming for, right? We have the African American community, the indigenous community. Of course, I have a mission in Iraq that we plan on launching as well. I got connected with their parliament members. Um, but in terms of goal, we want to have at least 50 organizations, community organizations, where they have their libraries on Oria collecting history. and where they're actively having stories contributed daily, right? That's our goal. We want to have 50. Reasonable.
So
Yep.
quick, so quick question: when you're working with let's, for lack of a better term, calling them nation states, so Iraq or wherever. And I know you did some stuff with India, was it, or Pakistan?
Yeah, I went to India. I went to India last year.
So when you do things with nation states, I think it's dope because I would consider that almost like an enterprise client when you know when you're engaging. I think that would be particularly a good client because as a nation state, you're a guardian of the culture, the history, and all these things. What does that mean? I'll ask you like a founder question, like how I thought my first million. What's the economic model of that? Like I'm imagining there's got to be, whether it be cloud space, server space, a strain on your technical infrastructure. What does the remuneration look like? Or do you press them? Like, is it like a soft sell, like where you do an exploratory before you hit them? Or what is your aim, or how does that work for you?
So, I mean, of course, at first it's like I would say the actual monetization part of it's really contract like a negotiation of it, right? Of course, we have like the default model where if people are just going to our website and signing up, they can just choose one of the default pricing tiers. But with an organization like Iraq, right, that's one where we want to learn more on how it's useful, how it can be rolled out, because we have to plan for a new language. We have to plan for them actually using it on their own. So knowing who's going to actually be controlling it. So it's not just launched and just left and then in the oblivion of our
Mm-hmm.
platform. Right. And on top of that, it's when we work with government entities, it's not like we're just going to parliament and saying, hey, buy this, and they're rolling it out. Right. So for example, the member we're talking to, he's part of the Yazidi community. Right. And so
Part of the what community?
Yazidi.
Yazidi?
Yep, Yizid. DI.
Yizid. Yazid.
DI. Yeah, Yazidi.
Yazidi.
Yeah.
Yazidi.
And
Well, now what
so
is that? Well, this is so. What is that?
they're an ethnic minority. They're similar to the Kurdish community where, they've had a rocky past. For example, in I believe it was 2014, there was a Yazidi massacre. And so one thing for them is the idea of using our platform allows them to not only preserve their history and maybe have it contribute to Iraq's history, but it's allowing multiple different communities within a country to preserve theirs, right? So, for example, when we come back to the U.S., right, Maryland itself has at least 100 different ethnic groups, right? And so, by allowing each ethnic group to actually contribute their history or preserve their own communities, it also gives a gateway for the Maryland Archive to preserve more diverse narratives, right? Because there's so many different takes on one area's history from depending on who you are, how you're raised, like, you have an entirely different life based on it, right? Your entire, even who you eat breakfast with, whether you're going to church on Sunday or mosque on Friday, right? So it's a completely different ball game there. So that's how we're doing it, right? While we have our self-service platform, when it comes to dealing with actual partners we're pursuing, um, we do it based on how much it'll really cost us, right? And also making sure it's affordable, right?
Yeah.
Because the American dollar is not going to translate the same over to Iraq as it will in the US. So
No, but they have dollars.
yeah, of
Everybody
course,
everybody has dollars.
change,
They
right?
have dollars. They gotta buy planes and barrels of oil or whatever they buy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because here's one of the things, and just kind of thinking out loud. I think I think what you're doing as a platform is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
I think um, I think intuitively there's the opportunity for you to specifically, specifically when it comes to a nation state level. I think there's contractual opportunity there that runs in the millions. I think it's nothing for a nation state to say I'm going to put 1 million, 2 million, 3 million on this.
Hmm.
It's a matter of cultural preservation. There's ministries of culture that are completely dedicated to those things. I think what you're doing is of tremendous value, specifically your intention, like specifically how intentional you are about it. I think I think that you should blow up this year. I think,
That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah, that's definitely the
so
goal.
I think um, one of the things I think on its face, and we'll talk more. One of the things on its face that I think it could be a driver is the media aspect or the content creation aspect of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, that's why, dude. That's why I'll probably push you or nudge you to make the content because a lot of times it doesn't have to be as sophisticated as we think it is, but it can be 10 times as powerful as we assume it to be. Specifically, getting your story out there in the public sphere with the mass that needs to be. Like sometimes you got to create a lot just because the public space is so fast and rapidly changing. Like you have to be on so much just to take up enough oxygen. Um, but I think there's opportunity to kind of translate that story into a media story. Specifically, if you were to find a partner, like that's probably the like the thing to find, whether it's a partner or some sort of founding um, client that
Hmm.
can take the support into the seven figure. So you're not grinding because that's the danger, right? Like that's the danger. So say you get tuberculosis, say you break your leg, say you get a little traumatic brain injury and you need 6 months to just kind of like rest your head.
Hmm.
Reality, like what does that do to your business? And so whether it is the seven figure contract or the 3 6 figure contracts, like let's say if you're talking about it in phases, right? Like you're a very mature business. You've got concept, you've got brand, you've got intention, you've got relationships. You're mature enough to be able to now, like it's almost like if you had like 4 boxes and you just needed that fifth box to stack up and then you're tall enough to press the button. What is the button to where like, okay, boom, now you've got however you want to do it, a mill in the bank and you can breathe. And if you did like have to break your ankle, you can sit somewhere and be having like 3 or 4 different people that you've trained in the various capacities that can press forward. So I think, and that's one of the things specifically as entrepreneurs of color or startup entrepreneur, whatever. There's a million different ways you could cut it. But when you're in that position where you're mature, you've got assets, you've got value, you've got intention, you've got purpose, you've even got product market fit. You're talking and you're talking and negotiating, but if calamity happens, do you have enough like oxygen to sit out 6 months, so sit out, or survive a year? Then people need a year runway.
Hmm.
Like if something happens and boom, uh, you know, clients disappear and we need to pivot. Like what does that look like if it's not on your shoulders? I think sometimes as entrepreneurs we carry our business like a backpack. And maybe you need to get like a wagon to put the put the
Yeah,
business
yeah,
in
yeah.
the wagon
So
to
on that
push.
end, what we're doing is like, so for example, I have more people than last time we spoke, right? For example, we have someone specifically just for business development. When I'm not doing reaching out to investors, we have someone who's specifically not only finding investors and partners, but he's focused on investors, right? And so we have that point where it's not all on me, right? Like there's now, like for example, we are having people start to book meetings on not my time slot when I'm not reaching out to them, right? And so we have gotten to that point where it's getting organic. I'd say that's actually our goal for this year. The problem for us right now is that with the funding landscape, especially,
It's crazy.
with where we are, it's crazy, right? You have to do a lot more. Like, 2 years ago when we first launched the app, once you get to the app, you're in ball game to get some funding because reaching
Hmm.
the app requires funding to get there. Whereas now, people can typically vibe code. And then on top of that, lots of investors that might not be as tech savvy with how they understand vibe coding, they think that, any idea can be replicated, whereas that's not true because, if it's a truly unique concept or original concept, a vibe code, some cloud can't just generate your product because it's not something that's within its data set, right? And so,
Well, so just to pause you for a second, because we know the investor landscape is crunchy and it's only going to get crunchier as the economy does what it does and interest rates are unpredictable and it's a crazy time right now. But I think you don't even need that. I think you've got a platform, you've got a brand, you've got demonstrated value, you've got a story, you've even got collaborative partners. I think putting the bite on them. So say
mhm,
for instance, and the reason why I like enterprise sales is you've got clients like this is how I make a living really. You got a client who's enterprise client right now. I'll tell you, like right now is the summertime where they do brand planning and they're thinking about their budget, and then come end of summer they'll be tightening down, and then November they'll see a scope of work for the subsequent year, and typically those, let's say those are anywhere between 1 to 3 million. So now
mhm,
you've got that locked in terms of budget for the subsequent year, and now you have operating capital. Like typically with enterprise clients, once they sign that scope of work for, once they sign a scope for say 2 3 million, not only do they always pay it, they want to pay it. Because if, say, I'm the Ministry of Culture in Dubai and I'm paying you $1 million to make sure we're, preserving our culture, our language, our stuff on your servers, I got to get rid of that $1 million because I
mhm.
said to my boss, "Hey, I'm going to spend 10 million. Like your million isn't the only million. They got to spend like say 50 million or whatever it is by end of year, or else the next year they don't always get it. Like it's like, oh, if you only spend 45 next year, only you're going to get 45. So they not only
Have
do
that cash. Mhm,
not only do they spend the money, but I call it the October surprise. The October surprise is typically enterprise clients. They'll let's say you have 50 million in terms of budget, sometimes more, sometimes 500 or whatever. But if you're working with a group of vendors and one vendor doesn't spend, let's say one vendor says, "Oh, you were supposed to spend 2 million. I only, got to spend 1.5 million, or I only spent 1 million." You'll get that call and say, "Hey, I got an extra million that I got to spend in the next 2 months, and do you have something I can do with it? Do you have a way I can buy some extra server space, or let's put it towards, another creative program?" Um, it gets you out of that investor space because right now the investor space, is not where you want to be, because specifically because of AI making everything so cheap. What was a $10 million company 2 years ago is now only a $1 million company. Everything, the value of everything is crashing, not only because is it easier to build, but labor is crashing. Like labor, like people, like everything is cheaper. So say for instance, with network.ai, I used to, like I literally used to have like 10 people like doing workflows and like designing the workflow and all this stuff. Just let go of my last guy last week. Claude can do it by itself.
mhm.
There's there's workflows that can just program themselves. I used to have 10 guys programming workflows. So now what used to cost, let's say it used to cost say $12 an hour a guy in South America. South America is the only where you could get $12 an hour. You got somebody in the U.S. that's easily $100 an hour. Everybody in the U.S. wants $100 an hour. Now, even on a freelance basis, those are gone. So you can deliver the same product for a quarter of the price. So say, for instance, if you're developing a website or you're developing a CRM campaign for clients, what used to be $20,000 for a CRM campaign should legitimately be like $1,000. So there's enterprise is becoming less expensive, which is bad if you're still collecting investment dollars because it dilutes the value of what you take in, and it creates this seesaw. So say, for instance, if I take in $1 million today and I'm valued at $1 million today, but fast forward, I'm only valued at $500,000 and I still owe $1 million, I'm upside down. Like I'm upside down in the value of my company and like how much equity. It's all over the place. But you're past that. You can get clients. Well, you could get an enterprise level client. Boom, 7-figure.
Yeah. So what we did was like, what I was gonna say is also like we stopped pretty much all investor outreach right now. Like all we've been doing is just B2B, right? And that's our goal, right? We want to get to the point where because also well, I think what this economic state did was it pointed out the flaw with startups, the startup world, where people always think that, of course, a lot of people, especially myself, needed investors up front at first, but now it's realizing that you have to make operational business. Like we can't keep running on a model where everyone's trying to make a business and everyone knows that 90% are going to die because the model or the business wasn't a good idea, right? It's just not sustainable anymore, right? And so yeah, that's what we're doing. It's just more so, for example, actually after this call, I'd love for you to actually help me with one of the clients, right? Because I mean, the problem right now is when we first engaged them, it was a year ago. We didn't have the platform at first, and we're like, yeah, you can use the app for free up front, right? That was fine. But now that it's been a year, they never actually signed the partnership agreements, right? We were never able to go public with them because administrative problems with the bureaucracy inside of government organization now. So then they reached back out 3 weeks ago and they said, hey, we can move forward, get signed at the end of May, right? But now we're like, listen, that was a year ago. Your librarians had success with the platform. They like it. And on top of that, they actually just had a budget increase, right? Meaning to have more cash to spend. And on top of that, what our ask for is we know it's a drop in their bucket. We just have to get to the point to the person that actually makes that decision rather than the person who's currently like he'll be the head of the program of it, but he's not the one that's going to actually be the conversation for
Send them.
negotiating.
You got the terms and the invoice. Send them the invoice.
Yeah, but so just send them invoice. Don't even tell them that it's now going to be a cost because remember now.
Do you have established pricing? What is your baseline pricing for enterprise client, government entity, municipality?
So for
What's your
government
baseline?
entity, it's custom, right? Right now we don't have that laid out, right? But
if you were to name it, because you on your side you have to have some level of expectations,
so
forecasting.
the goal for them would be around 18K at least for just
18K a year or a month?
a year.
Because realize 18K a month is a reality for a lot of people.
Of course. So for them,
For the 18K a year.
Yeah.
Dude, just put together like so don't do all your own talking. Put together 7 slides of this is what it is, boom, 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 18K. Matter of fact, on the slide, if you want 18K, say 25. 7 slides to the person that you've been having a dialogue with, whatever the dialogue is. Just be like, boom, really excited about the conversation that we were having. Want to put some shape and form to what we've got going on. Here are a couple of slides to just share what's on my mind. I would have 7 slides of like what their need is, what your perceived solution for their need is, what the value proposition is, and the cost and terms. So I would start, if you want 18K, I would start at 25, and then I would just establish what those terms are. And then the other piece is knowing what terms your client does. Like some people, some businesses, it depends. So some businesses have a relationship where they just pay you once a year. Some you invoice as need, and it's 30 days or 60 days or whatever it is. I would put the value proposition in their hand, then have a slide that establishes what the cost is, what the anticipated terms are, and then send that to them with the understanding um, that they'll probably be using that to demonstrate need to whoever their superior is. You're not necessarily doing it for their information because they don't have 18K in their pocket. They're going to have to go to a controller or, some sort of further administrator that will stroke the check, but it's not anything out of the ordinary. Like for the controller on their side, and understand what their sensitivities are. So, like, say for instance, I've got clients that anything under $50,000, they don't really need any like permission. Like some people have that threshold. Like anything 50,000 and under, they can just do it like they're swiping their credit card. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with one founder, and he has a newsletter, and he has clients that buy positions in his newsletter, 5,000 a clip. And he was like, at corporate clients, and somebody was like asking him like, "How do you invoice?" And he was like, "Really, I just send them a link, and most of them pay it with their credit card, 5,000 a pop, like a corporate card." So find out what their terms are. Some, again, like 50,000 and below, they don't need a director's signature. They don't need whatever. Just depends on that circumstance. Some, like if it's 100,000 and higher, they have to go to the controller. But realizing from a controller perspective, $18,000 isn't a lot. Like if you say I need a
Yeah, for
subscription,
sure.
they'll stroke it. They'll just boom, just have whatever banking relationship however you want it, to have those payment terms set up. But I would just 7 slides, last slide money slide with 25K, and then if they come back, you can negotiate some sort of discount for first year or whatever. So you don't present 18K and next thing you know you're getting 10. you know, so,
Yeah.
so
And
yeah,
for
that's
us,
what I would do.
my concern is that I don't want to let this person, because here's the thing, once you give them that amount, right? Because I had the same problem with another system where I realized that once you give that person the actual proposal, if they perceive it as a large amount or something like that, suddenly they put it off because for them, you let them become the gatekeeper, basically. I don't want this person to become the gatekeeper to the actual deal itself. I want him to basically, because here's the thing, we have, all right, so say this person, he's a director of one of the sites, right? The people below him liked us. He likes us, right? Already referred us to other people as well, right? But the thing is, he has not connected me with the person who's going to be able to say whether this goes forward and say, all right, this makes sense or not. And that's the thing is, I'm going to be asking him to connect me with the decision maker because I don't want to be trying to negotiate stuff with a liaison, right? Because do you see what
There's
I'm
two
saying?
sides. I do, but I think you might be looking at it the wrong way.
Okay.
Um, Instead of gatekeeper, I might use the word champion. Like imagine you had a champion that goes off. Like a king doesn't go and fight all his battles. A king doesn't say to a soldier, "Hey, introduce me to the soldier you're fighting because I really want to fight." Like they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of clients where I don't try to speak to their boss. I give them what it is, and they take it to the person that says yes, and that person says yes, and they write me a check. I don't, I don't have a problem with it. As long as they believe in what you're doing, and the value proposition is clear, and your product is clear, there's no need for you to speak to anybody. Your brand speaks for itself. That's why you've got a solid product. That's why you've got a solid brand. That's why you have champions. I wouldn't. I would say this costs $25,000, and I would arm them with all of the tools they need, because whoever it is that they're going, they know that person better than you. They know what that person wants to hear better than you. There's no use in you going and now you got to spend 2 more months to meet somebody new and get a new relationship, and maybe they're like some white dude that you don't even want to meet anyway. Like, it's not necessary for you to get your aim. Like, you can do those 7 slides, give him those 7 slides, and let him go do his job, and then let him bring you back the money. Versus you're going and you're selling to that person, you're selling to that person. What you're doing is what you used to call, like, you might sell yourself out of a sale. Because what happens if you go and say that person doesn't gatekeep? They say, oh yeah, go meet him. And he's some dickhead that you didn't want to meet, and he don't like you, and you don't like him, and what the fuck?
You just
just,
said.
and you're just putting more responsibility on your head. You've got the relationship. That person thinks you're dope. They see value. They're not the ones that have to sign the check, but that's fine. They believe in your product. They're the kid that wants the balloon. And the kid is going to say, hey, mommy, I want this balloon. Can you give this guy $5? Then they're going to say yes to their kid. They may not
Would you even,
necessarily say yes to you.
yeah. So would you even explain why it's not free no more, or would you just like say things have changed?
No,
Like,
nothing in the world is free, man.
yeah,
Nothing in
yeah,
the world is free. What are you
yeah.
talking about?
That was my problem. Like, I was like, the initial onboarding was going to be free, but it was like y'all had success and y'all bluffed. Like, y'all just didn't get it done. But the thing is, like, it was administration. The person who was going to be signing off, he's leaving. So,
Which is fine, and I would consider it no harm done, no hurt feelings, but just establishing, and however you want to contextualize it, right? Like, you could say, you know what we're doing? We're updating and we're getting a new platform, and everything's going to be brand new. AI has changed so radically. Our servers are updated. We're going to offer more value. Our product is significantly different, Mr. Jones. But you know what we're going to do? Going forward, this package that we sold you in Discovery, we had a great success with. For most of our clients, that's going to be $50,000 a year. But
Mhm.
we appreciate the confidence that you placed in us. I convinced my guy, we're going to take half. We're going to make it, we want to make success with you. We're going to take on half of the investment. We're going to put on 25. If you can meet us at 25, that'd be great. And even put that in the slides. Our product is, when we did this with you. Our product is this now. These are the successes that we've delivered. We did it in Discovery because we appreciate your partnership in the founding. You're a founding the client with us. Right now, we're coming out. We're going to market $50,000 for our base platform. We're grandfathering people that believed in us. We're taking the investment. We've got some profits. We can support the server space. We can support the team to do this for you for $25,000 in the year. How do you feel about that? And even if you want to do it, there's a number of different ways. There's a number of different ways you can leapfrog the gatekeeper, even if you want to position him as gatekeeper. The deck does a lot of heavy lifting. Once you put things in black and white, people can't dodge it. It's like right in their face. So putting these things in the deck, like even if those slides, like, our product started here. We did a launch project with you, and this was the success we made. Now our product is here. We're out of Discovery. We're going to market. Our baseline is 50K. We appreciate you because you're a founding client. You believed in us. We're taking the investment and we're offering people like you to do it half price. We're not going to make any money off of your back. You stood with us. We're going to just support you. 25K. And if you can't do it, we understand. And then that opens the dialogue, that sets the threshold. They'll pay the 25K happily because in municipal categories, 25K is not a lot.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Trust me. I've seen their budget. It's bountiful. So
So get your 25, man. Get your 25. If you want to layer on top of that, you can make a nice little video that says, a general video that says, hey, blah blah blah, this is what we're doing. We're coming in and going to market at this price point, even if you want to not say specific prices, but say, our average client for annual is like, 5 or 6 figure engagements. If you were
hmm
to just communicate like, yeah, we're going to market this year, our typical engagement is a 5 or 6 figure engagement with municipalities and enterprise clients, and then do that like almost like you're a podcast or whatever, and then share it via LinkedIn or share it directly with folks that you want to socialize it to. And that's a means of socializing it without making it so direct. Not, like, hey, you better pay me 5 figures going forward, but you're just explaining this is where you were, this is where you're going, this is how you would like to bring along people that have shown faith and trust in you when you guys were founding. So I would do that, and I would start to see what that looks like if you were to put a number on the different people. Like if you were to say, okay, in let's say Q2, I'm going to get all of the prospective relationships. And then by Q3, I'm going to start putting numbers on them. I'm going to say this one is 100 grand. This one is 50 grand. This one is 60 grand. This is 10 grand, whatever it is. And then Q3, you got your spreadsheet and you roll on them. Because Q4 is when everybody spends their money. So once you get to Q4, there's going to be people who can't spend it fast enough. And there, you'll already be in their book. You'll already have a number. It's like when kids make their Christmas lists, they start making that Christmas list in October. They know. They know. So when November comes and Grandma asks you what you want, you know, I want that the Nerf gun or whatever. So when Q4 comes along and the director says what you need on your budget, they're gonna know. I need Oria. Oria is 50 grand. You get that. And you'll be one of the first checks written at the top of the year. Then you go into 2027 knowing, okay, I got 1.5 in the bank.
Yep.
And then it's just a matter of, okay, how do I make sure these customers are serviced? New customers know what I'm doing for old customers, and we're telling a really powerful story. Because I think you've got an advantage. You've got an advantage because it's a powerful story. It's not like Cisco or any sort of bland tech. Like tech is boring. Tech servers and boxes and keyboards, that's boring. What you're doing is flesh and blood, culture, human legacy, history. Like there's power there. Those are my thoughts. I'll stop blabbing.
Thank you. Trust me, because for me, it's just been I've been thinking about this email because I was just like, bro, there's no way. Like it almost felt, because I'll just be this person. I'll go online. Is it?
No.
The most annoying part for me was, frankly, after we had already started doing deals across the state, making money, they said, can you give us something else to incentivize our leadership to put our banner on this? And I'm like, wait a minute. And now I'll name drop since we're here. It was PG, and I'm from PG. And I'm like, so you're going to tell me my own library system, the only one that we're willing to give to for free, and the only one that we're willing to also and we're from there, and y'all haven't been able to expand it between your librarians yet. You're going to tell me you need another reason. It felt insulting. I'll be honest with you. I was like, that's like these other organizations, they're signing checks, and they're from halfway across the country.
Yeah. And I'm gonna apologize now because I gotta go pick up my child from school. But yeah, roll on them. Like don't take it easy. Don't take it easy on nobody. Like this is rolling time. This is like straight. You're fighting for you. This is business.
Yeah.
This is business. Anyway, I gotta run. I'm gonna download this and shoot you a copy so you got it, and then let's try and catch up soon. Let's try and catch up soon. Let's not
I'm gonna be in
be
Philly
strangers.
soon again too. So let's meet
Okay,
up when I'm out there or something. All right.
hit me up. I'll catch you. All right.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Busy day today. It was. Anyway, it's the end of the day. That's all I got. It was a lot. I'm gonna now download, because it's Tuesday, the 28th. I'm gonna download, I'm gonna edit, I'm gonna try and post. But anyway, I'm not even gonna wrap it up for you. You saw it all. Tomorrow's another day. Until then, stay on the grind. Stay on the GRZY. I'm out of here.
I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. Up before the sun, same shoes, same run. Turn the pain to a plan, turn the plan to a flood. Mama praying in the kitchen, grease pot, pots hissing. I was broke, but I listened. Now my hunger sound different. I'm on the GRZY. Hey! Can't nobody come and move me from it. I'm on the GRZY. Yeah! Every stumble I just turn to something.
Hands up high when they try to break me.
Hey!
Knees on the floor when the weight get heavy.
I'm on the GRZY.
Oh.
Got in my corner, they can't take it from me. Whole block say I changed. Whole fam say I'm saved. Still that kid from the way. Just walked out of my cave. Hustle rolled these scars. Scars rolled these bars. Now my struggle in the car. Rattling all through their hearts. I'm on the GRZY. Whoa! Can't nobody come and move me from it. I'm on the GRZY. Hey, hey! Every stumble I just turn to something.
Hands up high when they try to break me. Knees on the floor when the weight get heavy.
I'm on the GRZY.
Oh.
Got in my corner, they can't take it from me.
I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY.
I'm on the GRZY. Ain't nobody come and move me from it. I'm on the GRZY. Every stumble I just turn to something.
Hands up high when they try to break me. Knees on the floor when the weight get heavy.
I'm on the GRZY.
Oh.
Got in my corner, they can't take it from me.
On the